I really want to keep things as authentic as possible. I don't want to make it sound like I'm perfect and that everything that I'm saying is like set in stone and this is what it is. This is life. I'm having a moment. I'm having a week, actually, and I did call this a while ago. I did say that a lot of times when I'm solo parenting, it is very difficult for me to stay on track because there's just so many other things happening. There's so many other things that are on my mind. There's no real true peace. This week, for example, while I've been enjoying hanging out with my kids and momming and all of that, like I really do enjoy my children and their company, focusing on me just goes right out the window. And then there's also situations that come up like today, for example. At the beginning of this week, I planned out what we were going to have for dinner each night just so that I could be organized and know exactly what ingredients I needed to pick up at the store, etc., etc. I was really just trying to get ready for my week. But what I didn't do was also put in the plan little things like defrosting the beef or, things like that. So that's what happened tonight. I went to go make dinner and I didn't make sure that the ingredients that I needed for it would be ready when I needed them. The beef was still frozen. I ended up ordering pizza because everybody was hungry and I just didn't have it in me really to like come up with a plan B or like cook something else, or I just immediately was like, you know what, we're gonna have a movie night, we're gonna just order some pizza. And then this is where things started to really go downhill for me. Now I've like had 3 slices or four slices. I had 2 like when we were all sitting down to eat, and then before I came upstairs I scarfed down another 2, and I'm just like, as much as I want to be like disappointed in myself, I'm also like, you know what, it happens. I'm trying to heal my relationship with food. I'm trying to like not punish myself for when I mess up, because at the end of the day, this is life. This is what it is. I recognize there needs to be a level of discipline that I adopt. I'm working on it. I do really think that a big part of it is ADHD because of the impulsivity that comes with it. There's a lot of things that I've learned over the last few years about ADHD. Today is one of those days that I did not take my ADHD medication. I find days that I don't take it tend to be harder when it comes to impulsivity as it relates to food. I just gotta make sure that I stay on top of this. So I need to consistently take my medication so that I can be consistently successful with the decisions that I'm making throughout the days. Thanks for coming along on this TED Talk with me, this journey. I just wanted to be real with you. I just wanted to like show you guys that like the journey is not perfect. Nothing in life is linear and it ebbs and flows, and we just tweak it. We just work with it. We identify what the issues are. Like I said in my last video, it's very important to track. It's very important to gather the data that you need. And if I wasn't gathering data, I would have never correlated the fact that, when I don't take my ADHD medication, this is what happened. I would have never really had the awareness that I have about it. So anyways, long story short, that's what I'm getting at, is just data, tracking, self-awareness, writing everything down, documenting the journey. I think is also very important because it makes it easier to like see where you were, what you were struggling with, whatever, so that you can like appreciate how far you've come as time progresses, or see where you need to make changes and what you need to tweak. So thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Tonight, we're starting fresh. And we're just gonna stay the course. And that is on consistency. Today is a new day. We are starting fresh. I've already had my coffee. So I was in the middle of making that viral carrot salad. I came across it on my Pinterest account. It's got very Asian flavors, and I'm trying to make like a beef and broccoli for dinner tonight. So anyways, I started making the salad, realized that I did not have the chili oil that you need in order to like, I guess, give it that flavor or whatever. So we're going to the store to pick some up. Yeah, fingers crossed my kids don't eat all of the carrot that I work so hard at shredding, because knowing them, they will. They really like carrots. So anyways, here we go. Okay, I need to get out of here before I just keep adding things to my cart. This is why I shop on Instacart. Something that I actually do want to talk about. I've been seeing a lot of posts lately about women who are like leaving these toxic relationships, or just not even just toxic, but just relationships in general where they are not feeding their soul. You put in the work, you really try to make it work, but if you have a partner who is not on the same page as you, working on figuring it out with you, it's like an uphill battle, and it's almost like, what is the point, you know? I don't know, it's almost like we're waking up and we're realizing that we deserve better. I'm very curious actually about when the men are gonna catch up, because I'm seeing women left and right talking about this topic. Men do too. I am seeing that there are men who are trying to shed light on it as well and put it in a way, I guess, that it resonates with other men. But I don't know, it just feels like there's a huge gap. And I'm very curious about it. Every time I hear other women's stories about why they left or what they were dealing with within their relationship, I think it helps with other women who are going through similar. The only difference is that there's so much nuanced information that gets lost or gets overlooked, where no two relationships are the same, I should say. So some women who are experiencing certain things are like, nope, this isn't cool for me. There's so much more layers to it than just the act of whatever it is that they're like, I'm not putting up with anymore. So there's like other relationships where like men are doing very similar things, but it's like balanced out by other stuff. I don't know if I'm making any sense at all. I feel like sharing my story, while it may be relatable and it might help another woman to see that what they're actually experiencing is abuse or not, or whatever, I recognize I've spent the last several years really focusing on myself and trying to like heal from all the things that I had been through. And I also do recognize through this healing journey, I did recognize where I also went wrong in the relationship. And I know that there's so much information out there about like him. But like there is also space to recognize that women are not perfect too. I did not have examples of what healthy relationships are supposed to look like growing up. That being said, I'm not saying that I don't really like going this way, but we're doing it. Within my relationship, I was the primary caregiver for all of our children. You know, whenever they're sad, when they need extra comfort, it's me that they would go to. And I used to explain this to him all the time. As active of a dad as he was, there was still imbalance. It was mostly me doing all the things, and the expectation was that it was me. That was the expectation, and I didn't like that. The expectation should not be that I am the primary parent. It should not be that if they need to go to the doctors, it's me. It should not be that I'm the one who has to handle all the dentist appointments and help them with the homework, and like that shouldn't be the expectation. This is the key word that I really want to emphasize here. He helped, okay? I hated that. I hated the fact that it was seen as though he should help. It should not be that. It should be, we are both in this together. We both decided to have these children. So if things need to get done, I should not have to delegate all the things. I should not have to figure out who does what. I shouldn't be the entire brain behind the entire operation. It should be a team effort, and it didn't ever feel like a team effort. I used to explain this to him all the time. I feel like everybody has a plate. We all have our responsibilities on that plate. My responsibilities were like piled up on my plate, and then his plate, his responsibilities was like specifically just work, because the expectation was that I was handling everything else. And then if I needed help or if I needed his assistance with XYZ, it was like he's helping me as opposed to him just being a parent. And this was a conversation that we had several times throughout our relationship. And I'm not saying this to say that he was a horrible dad. He loves his children. It's not that I'm trying to say that it wasn't enough. It was that I was also expected to work a full-time job. I was also expected to pay that's actually a whole different podcast. But it's like, it was so imbalanced, and trying to draw light to the imbalances was exhausting. It was heavily exhausting. Those are major reasons why I was unhappy, but they were not what drew me to deciding to leave, because I felt like all of those things we could work on. All of those things, if we had the right context, if we had the right help and had the right communication surrounding these situations, we could have figured it out. We could have worked through, we could have made our relationship so much stronger working through these things if we had gotten the help. So the reasons why I left were far bigger than these things. But these are some of the reasons why a lot of women do choose to leave, because they're just like, I'm birthing all of these children, I'm taking care of these children, I'm doing all of these things, and everything is on me, and you're just like, you come home and you want to crack a beer and watch TV, and it's like you're doing what you saw your parents do, whereas we are here seeing what our parents did, and we don't want that for ourselves. So we're trying to parent our children better. We're trying to learn from their mistakes. We're trying to like push the needle, right? And it's hard to do when you're with somebody who isn't on the same page as you, trying to push that needle. Anyways, that's my little rant about my relationship. So yeah, see you later.
Baila, baila conmigo, que yo el paso te sigo. Seamos más que amigos, amigas, amigos. Solo tú me sigues al ritmo de la pista y yo me veo como chica de revista. Baby, conmigo a ti se te va la vista. Puedo quemarte solo con una pizca. Arriba y abajo, uy, ahí. Prendimos, apagamos. Arriba y abajo, ahí. Prendimos, apagamos nunca. Baila, baila conmigo, que yo el paso te sigo. Seamos más que amigos, amigos, amigos. Baila, baila conmigo, que yo el paso te sigo. Seamos más que amigos, amigos, amigos. Seamos más que amigos. Seamos más que amigos. Yeah, yeah. Baila, baila conmigo, que yo el paso te sigo. Seamos más que amigos, amigos, amigos. Solo tú me sigues al ritmo de la pista y yo me veo como chica de revista. Baby, conmigo a ti se te va la vista. Puedo quemarte solo con una pizca. Arriba y abajo, uy, ahí. Prendimos, apagamos. Arriba y abajo, ahí. Prendimos, apagamos nunca. Baila, baila conmigo, que yo el paso te sigo.
Good morning, y'all. This is still week 4 of my 12-week cut, and I have absolutely fallen off of staying in my calorie deficit. I've fallen off with being consistent with my walks, and I've also fallen off with recording content for these videos. A big part of that is because my older kids don't really want to be in any of my videos, and I'm trying to respect their desire for privacy. I also ran into storage issues with using my phone and have since picked up the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. I definitely prefer having a separate device to use to film because there's been plenty of times that I've wanted to use my phone while recording, so getting this new camera has been a total game changer. But anyways, getting back to the topic at hand while I do some of my morning skincare routine here, yeah, I've not been focused on my cut because my kids and work really do keep me occupied. But if there is one thing that I am the master of, it's getting back on the horse once I've fallen off. This is not going to be perfect, but we aren't striving for perfection. We're looking for progress. So here I am, starting fresh for week 5. I wasn't able to find the footage of when I weighed myself at the end of this week, but I was definitely up in weight. I ended last week off in my previous video at 228.8 pounds, I believe it was. And this week I had bumped back up to 233.6 pounds. When I say that it is so much harder to focus when you have to work full time and are surrounded by kids all day, I mean it. If there is anything that I want you to take away from this video, it's that if you are on a journey like I am, trying to lose weight, and you find yourself stalled or plateaued or just unable to stay the course, it is okay. We do not need to be 50 pounds down by yesterday, as nice as that would be. Give yourself grace and keep tweaking what isn't working. If staying in a calorie deficit is too difficult because your life is busy like mine is, then maybe it's time to start looking at other ways around those obstacles. I know for me, when my kids are home and I'm doing a lot of running around and not really getting enough sleep, I know that I need to find better routines that I can stick to without thinking about them. So that's what I'm going to work on for this upcoming week. I took a pause on ordering my Factor meals, but now I'm thinking that I should probably go back to using that service just to take the thought of dinner off my plate. I also need to get back into tracking my meals. I fell off of doing that as well and have noticed that I've been snacking a lot more on things that I don't normally eat just because it was convenient. So I think it's time to make other more healthy options even more convenient. So that's all I've got for you this week. I'm hoping that next week will be a better go. Thank you so much for coming along on this journey with me and following along with my videos. And I really do hope that you guys have a great rest of your week. Bye.